Hello, this is a quick tutorial. I'd like to talk about transfer a Rhino model into Twinmotion. Um, First of all, you need to install there is optional Twinmotion plugin for Rhino. This is called DataSmith Exporter. Highly recommend if you install, you can do synchronize, use direct link between Rhino and Twinmotion. So it's a pretty good program. You can uh, keep these two software running side by side. So after you download, install, you can run Rhino. And you should be able to see there is a new tag called DataSmith show up. If you didn't see this one, you probably can right click, make sure go to show toolbar, and you should see something like this, DataSmith. So this is option only after you install the plugin exporter for Rabbit. Alright, so inside this DataSmith tag, you have this button. This is very similar like a Rabbit. You have connections, exporting, or synchronize. So I will show you the difference between exporting and synchronize. If you have, for example, let's do an easy one. If I start with a new Twinmotion file, this is a brand new Twinmotion, nothing here yet. So back to Rhino, if I go ahead, click synchronize, we are basically packaging this entire file to make this connected to Twinmotion, right? So here in the Twinmotion, you need to go import direct link, and you can see the Rhino right here, right? And when you input, you can choose collapse or maintain the hierarchy. I will using the collapse because it's easier. I can manage the materials. I click OK. You should see that the file already ready to be streamed into Twinmotion. All right, so it's processing, and after that, you should see all the geometries will show up. Right, so if you make selection and use F, you can actually feed into your screen. The object sometimes could be floating above the air or below the ground. Depends on your snapping point. So if you do want to move this around, make sure you select the root of your thing, then you can move the whole thing downwards. So this is my side, and as you can see, this side is generated in InfraWorks. So all the materials carried in the correct UV. So it all looks pretty awesome. If you want to navigate WASD, this is a quick way. You can also use number 1, number 2, number 4 to change the speed. Right? So number 4 is the fast navigation. Right? If I want to change the look of the tower, I can go to concrete, maybe just choose one, drag it in. So this building will look like concrete now. And you can also adjust the scale if you want. Right? So this is how you maintain the scale in Twinmotion. Right? Yeah, so this is how you apply the geometries. If you do want to apply, for example, instead of doing the replace material, you can apply to object. So here depends on individual objects. Well, I have this entire building is a single object, so it doesn't make much difference. But if you have multiple objects, but they share the same material, you can use apply to object to give each object different color, different material, even they are initially come from the same material. Okay, I think that's it about this approach, direct link. I will show you a second approach is using the export 3D view. Oh, by the way, if you click connections, you can see this is my current connection to Twinmotion. All right. So the second option here is export 3D view, and you can choose a DataSmith format. So this is not a direct transfer, but it's more like similar like FBX, right? So here I can save it maybe to TM. I will give the name site DataSmith. Right. You might wondering why you use this approach. What's the benefit? Well, if you are using Unreal instead of Twinmotion, you cannot really direct link a Rhino file there. So datasmith will be the preferred way. Since Twinmotion and datasmith as well as Unreal is all come from Epic Games, so datasmith is more like a standard way. Okay, so here let me do the new thing, and I will just simply import. Right, this time instead of doing direct link, I will go to geometry. I will open the datasmith, and here the options I will choose collapse by material. Right. This could also be very useful in the future if you do want to move to a different computer. If you want to give this datasmith file to another person, right? You can definitely do this. Just make sure in the Rhino datasmith you give the person both the file as well as a folder. The actual geometry is saved and the texture is saved in the folder. Right? Just make sure you give both. Yeah, this is the file format inside the folder. Okay, so these need to go together. But anyway, back to Twinmotion, datasmith, click OK. You should be able to see the similar result. Okay, it's processing. Then here we go. You see the whole site. It's kind of floating, right? Because we have this in Rhino in a relatively high location. Yeah, you can always move down. Looks pretty nice. And again, you can change the material, right, to concrete. In the future, if you want to attach other details, you can go to, right, this is typical in Twinmotion. You can go to trees, then you can, paint the tree. The nice thing about this program is automatically detect the height of your geometry, so the tree will be actually seated on the right height. If you click here, it's on the roof, right? So it's very smart. It's understand where is the surface, and it's always snap directly to the surface, right? So here in our site, you can quickly decorate the whole place with vegetations. All right, I think that's it about basic connection between the Rhino program to Twinmotion, either through direct link or through the datasmith exporting 3D.